Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Green. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Suzanne Evans, the founder of driveninc.com. She'll say she's gotten some of it right. I'll say she's gotten a lot right. She's hit the Inc. 500, 5,000 for 5 straight years. Her book has been up to number 5 on the New York Times Bestseller List. She's a household name in our industry. Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Well, it happens to be true, so that's even better.
Good.
Especially in marketing. Yes. All right. So let's go back in time. Give our listeners and viewers, maybe who don't know who you are, shame on them. They've been hiding in a cave. How did you get started?
Well, humble beginnings. I honestly, I was in a job like most people. I fortunately had a little bit of an interesting job. I was working in the Broadway theater industry. So that was really cool and it was fun. And my background was theater and my education was. But I was like so many people probably listening to this can share an experience is I had that itch. I call it that, like, what am I supposed to do next? What do I want to do next? And I began to research what I wanted to do next because I was about $100,000 in debt. I was making $45,000 a year. And I did, I'm kind of a happy person. So if you sign me ditch digging, I'm going to be the happy ditch digger. So I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't satisfied. And I think those are two different things.
Yes, very much.
Right. And so what ended up happening was I began to research, like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And I'll skip the funny parts of some crazy directions and paths that I took. But I landed in coaching and I said, I don't know what this coaching thing is, but maybe I should hire one. I hired a coach. I then got into coaching. And so I first was a life coach. I got my life coaching certification and working a 60-hour-a-week day job, I launched a life coaching business that made 6 figures in the first year and made about $250,000 in the second year. And I was a really terrible life coach, so that's kind of the irony of all of this. I mean, horrible. Like, people would call me and, they would have bought my package. They'd say, so I'm struggling communicating with my husband. And I'd go, yeah, you should leave him.
Oh.
And they were like,
what?
I don't want to leave my husband. And I go, oh, so you just want to complain about it. So we either stop complaining about it or get a new husband.
Oh my God.
So we have like 35 minutes left. And I go, oh, so you want to complain for 35 minutes? I was not a great life coach. But
the name of your book should have been Just Shut Up. Like, there you go.
That's right. Just shut up. So what I did uncover is something that T.D. Jakes says, which I love. He says, some things are your transportation, not your destination. And life coaching was my transportation. What I did really well was build my business, build other businesses. In the Broadway theater industry, every time you open a show, you're building a new business. So I've been doing that for a decade in that industry. So when I shifted to being a business coach and consultant, we went from about $250,000 to $1 million that year and built my business to be a multi-million-dollar business, and then had the opportunity to be on the SharkPreneur podcast.
Oh my God. The check we sent you must have cleared, I see. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for the short version, the longer version, obviously, in your books and many, many resources. All right. So let's dive a little deeper. So let's talk about the coaching and the consulting that you're doing now. Who is an ideal client for you now? What type of businesses light you up? Where is your sweet spot?
So we work with small business owners and entrepreneurs, typically under 10 employees, that are in a service-based industry and they want to make more money in record time. And it's funny you asked this question today, because I was thinking this morning on my way to work, a colleague of mine who's a smart, wonderful, phenomenal woman, she just launched something that she said, and the angle she kind of took on what she launched was, you're sick of being in those rooms with people who are kind of just starting out, right? And you don't have the right community around you and environment. And what she's doing is building something that's more for a higher level entrepreneur. And it's funny because I think she wrote that copy for people like myself to go, yes, I am. And I went, no, I'm not. I love the underdog. I love the beginner. I love the person who's got an idea and they're trying to turn it into 6 figures. I love the person who's in a day job and they're trying to get out of the day job. I love the person who's made maybe 6 figures and they're like, how do I get to multiple 6 figures? I love the scrappy starter who has got great ideas and great work ethic, but they're not $1 million business yet. So I work with a lot of $1 million business owners, but don't tell them that they're not my favorite.
Okay, so hopefully they're not watching. Great. All right, service-based industry, looking to get to the next level. What are some of the 2 or 3 of the most common mistakes you see them making that you get to help them fix?
Well, people are stupid. I mean, it's just...
I see why that life coaching maybe didn't work out for you. I was going to say, my wife has accused me, on a daily basis of being too blunt, but I think you and I will get along fabulously because I could take it to another level with you. So love it.
Yeah,
people are stupid. Let's just put a sign.
Right. I have a child who's not yet in the public school system, and I actually don't think he'll go into the public school system. And, people always go, well, why would you still want to pay taxes? People who don't have children. I want to pay taxes for the public school system so the world has less stupid people in it. And most people shouldn't go into business. So the first thing I try to do is talk people out of going into business. And it's because people say, I want to go into business because I want to have freedom. You will lose all your freedom as an entrepreneur. People say, I want to go into business because I want to do things my way. Let me just tell you, if I could turn this camera, do you see all these paper? This is not my way. This is 20 people out there in a room out there that are demanding things from me. Approve this. Let's do that. But you will never have more choices than if you're an entrepreneur. So I love the choice that it gives me, and choices provide freedom. But you have to be somebody who's willing to work your ass off. You have to be someone who is willing to take a lot of hits. I get up, I'm Presbyterian grew up Presbyterian. We believe in predestination, thank God, or I don't know if I've made it this far. So I just keep telling myself I'm predestined, right, to whatever's happening. Because I wake up every day and I kind of expect it to be a shit show. I just do. And I know I navigate
You'll
that.
never be disappointed.
I'll never be disappointed. I know it's my job to navigate through that. And I'm super, super clear. And this is the biggest mistake I see people make, is that they're going to have a moment, or something's going to happen for them, or they're going to get discovered, or it's like, guys, this is a party of one. Hello, Suzanne, party of one. You got to get up every day and do this. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to give you the answers. So the 3 mistakes I see people make is thinking that there'll be a moment when it's right. Like there'll be this moment. There will never be a moment. I'm still waiting for my moment. I'm waiting for my moment. Number 2 mistake that I see people make is the internet has almost destroyed entrepreneurship. It's such a place for stupidity to fester, because what happens is you know this stuff, right? We get online and you see people going, launch an online product or do it.
That's right. Give me this $7 widget and I plug it and you're going to put it on your website and make $1 million in 2 weeks.
The way you make money is you meet people. You kiss babies and you shake hands and you hug and you leave your house and you leave your office and you connect with people. And I don't care. I could tell, we don't have time, I know, in this podcast, but I could tell you stories from GoPro, right, to Amazon. Everybody started their business the same, in-person handshakes, right? And the only people that didn't are the people who had, 20 million in venture capital to launch something, but they got the venture capital by shaking hands and leaving their office and meeting people. So that's the second mistake people make. And the third mistake people make is not understanding that this is not, there's no finish line. There's not a finish line. I had a client years ago that said, Suzanne, when do you feel like you get off the hamster wheel?
Yep.
I said, you don't. You just get better at running it and lose some weight, right? I mean, you don't. There is no finish line. And in business, when you fix your elbow, it breaks your ass, right? So you've got to be somebody who likes to play games. You've got to be somebody who understands that this is all a game. You know, I ran a half marathon about 4.5 years ago. Don't need to do that again. But I did, and I took a Sharpie and I wrote on my arm, the mind will stop before the body needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And it so applies to entrepreneurship, right? The mind will stop before the body needs to. So you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the most experienced. You don't have to be the most talented. Work the hardest and you'll win.
Okay. So much you just said in that answer was a golden nugget, writer downer. So many aha moments, listeners, viewers, I hope you are having. I'm just going to relate a couple to my own experience. So yeah, mind will quit before the body has to. Absolutely true. I'm a lifelong martial artist. I have a black belt in Krav Maga with the Israeli military. That test was the hardest. It was not only the hardest physical thing I ever had to do, because it was like 8 hours. It was the hardest mental thing I had to do, because 30 minutes in, I wanted to quit. I was like, I'm already exhausted. How the heck am I going to get through like 6 more hours of this? I'm done. And I had to keep pushing myself the whole rest of the time. So you're absolutely right on there. I will throw another, you said quite a few things that are quote worthy. I'm going to throw one back at you, which is there's no greater lab to grow yourself as a person than growing a business.
Oh, greatest personal development course you'll ever take.
Absolutely, because it's got the highest highs and the lowest lows. And your talk about plateau or being done, totally relate to that. I said, aren't I going to ever get to the point where I can coast, where I'm like, okay, we got this much revenue. That's our goal. We've got this much in profits. I'm just good now. I cannot sweat stuff for a while. And no, because as Tony would say, if you're ripe, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rot. So the second you think I've hit that level, I'm good now, I can coast for a while, you're either going to start tanking or you've got to level up yet again. So there's never a rest. There's never a, I'm just okay now. So you've grown a multi-million-dollar company, kind of being contrarianly, that's not a word, but I just made it up, contrarianly honest and direct in telling people the harsh truth that they may or may not want to hear, but they need to hear. So let's talk about the transformations, because you've affected so many businesses and you've got such a huge ripple effect in terms of the lives they're touching that you're touching through them. So let's talk about one or two kind of short case studies in terms of, hey, this was a business, they came to me, you don't have to give names, but they came to me, this is their problem, this is where they were, this is the no BS straight truth I gave them and what I told them to do and how we did it, and this is where they are kind of on the other side.
Yeah, I'll give Veronique. She is from the Netherlands. She came to one of my events making a few $100s a month. And the problem was she didn't have a structure. She didn't have a framework. She was a hustler. So she was willing to hustle, but you know, misguided hustle is ugly. It is ugly, right? So that's a little bit of what she had. So when you get a strategy, and I'm a huge strategist, right? Because right now in January when we're recording this, right, it is, what are you being hit with all day long in ads is planners, buy a journal.
Oh my God, thank you. It's so funny. One of our vendor, you know, Michael Hyatt's been on this. He sent me his latest one. So I started using that one. And then now, reticular activating bias, right? Like now every 5 seconds, there's another Facebook ad for another journal that's going to magically get you to where you want to go.
And listen, I'm a paper person, so I appreciate a journal. I appreciate planners, not to put those down. But here's the issue. 2 days ago, I did some data collection. I was hit with 16 ads for planners or journals. And the problem is you don't need a planner, you need a plan. And that was where Veronique was. And so when she had a specific strategy that worked, she started making a few $1,000s a month. In a couple of years, she had a multiple 6-figure business. And last year, she crossed the $1 million mark, and it was her 4th year with us. Another great example of someone is an individual who came to us, and they were making a little bit of money, and they had made it running Facebook ads. So they weren't netting much because they were, and I said, pull this all back, you've now got a base of some people. Let's plug in some in-person and high-ticket work. And she basically tripled her revenue in 6 months and 12 times her profit. Right?
Wow, that's even more impressive.
Yeah, because in the beginning, you shouldn't be doing a lot of online stuff. It really should be active income, not leveraged and passive. So obviously I could share lots of stories. We've had tons of people that have come to us and gone from 0 to 6 figures or from 0 to 7 figures. But I always think it's about doing the right thing at the right time for your right level.
Absolutely. That makes a whole lot of sense as opposed to generic one size fits all. Hey,
Well,
everybody should
work. Any tactic will work for somebody, but are you that somebody?
True. It's funny that you bring that up because I've had that thought about like, how come there's 8,000 different diets out there? Shouldn't there be one and then everybody just does that? No, it doesn't, because one doesn't work for every single person. Came up with their own and it worked for them and some other people. That's how it became famous.
They all work. I've done them. That they do. And
Yes.
You can lose weight on all of them because all of them at the end of the day are less calories in, more, right? More calories out.
Yes.
But some people prefer, right, to only eat peaches on Wednesdays. And so that one works for them. And some people want to do low carb. So you're exactly right. There's not a diet out there that's not some kind of scam thing, that won't work. It's what resonates and works for you. And is it that right diet for your right stage, for your right age?
Absolutely. So that's a great analogy. So you talked about some examples of some successful transformations. What do you like most about what you do?
This. I like to talk to people. I like to talk to people. I like to talk about people. I like to be really challenged. I like to say, here's what everybody's out there saying, and let me tell you why I agree with this. Or that's what everybody's saying, and let me tell you why it's a load of crap. And my life is very reactive. That can get you in trouble in a marriage. And it does. But my life is very reactive, which is one of the reasons I've been successful at this, because I have an opinion and a reaction to everything. And if you could, I could invite you to live your life more in that way. That's how you get paid to share your opinion. And that's what I really do. I get paid to share my opinion, to share my experience, and to share my knowledge around business. And my God, there's no better thing. There's no better thing.
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. All right. So with all this success you've achieved, what's your biggest challenge?
Oh, my biggest challenge right now, because it obviously changes, is, I started a business and I was a hustle, go, go, go. It didn't matter how much I worked, didn't matter where I needed to get on a plane and fly to. And I now have a little 3-year-old. And so, yeah, and he's amazing and wonderful. And of course, the most important thing in my life. So the last couple of years, my business has changed dramatically in the simplifying it.
Yep.
I've killed some divisions that, were good gross makers and okay profit makers. So my business, if someone looked at it, they might go, oh, your business the last couple of years has been about the same. But if you dig in and you look at our net profits, our net profits soared so much last year that I regretted it. You know anything about what happens when your net goes up over your taxes?
We're from the government and we're here to help you.
Exactly. So for me, it's managing the new me, because I am still very driven and I am still very hungry and I love what I do and I'm very competitive. But time with my child and energy and focus with my child is my most important piece. So I have to manage the new me who still can be hungry and still can be driven and still wants these things, but can't do as many of those things because I need the time over here and I want the time.
I have 3 little kids. I totally resemble that remark. I totally get where you are coming from. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable for our viewers and listeners who have been watching and want to learn more. Where do they go to get the book? Where do they go to get all things Suzanne?
The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Can be purchased on Amazon, but you can go to driveninc.com. That is our website. And you can always, hey, this is my personal email, Suzanne@driveninc.com. Suzanne, Suzanne, it's right behind me, driveninc.com. Shoot me an email, send me a complaint, send me a question. I'd love to connect with you.
Awesome. That's really, really generous of you. We'll give us a 1 to 2 minute before you go, if you don't mind, blurb about the book. What's the book? Why should they get it?
Yeah, the book is about that, the way you do anything in your life, how you show up to church, how you talk to your kids, how you market. it is a reflection of how you do everything. So you don't focus on being a better marketer. You focus on being a better you that makes you a better all of those things. And it also really tells you the whys of why you aren't where you want to be. A lot of books tell you how to be where you want to be. I think it's really useful to figure out why you're not there before you then go figure out how you get there or what you should do to get there. The book reads like I speak. So it's like sitting down with me over a cup of coffee and me kind of telling you like it is and you liking about 50% of it, but knowing you need all 100% of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will send our viewers and listeners to driveninc.com and Amazon. Suzanne, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.